Hi, I'm Eric Kang, a program manager on the SQL Server team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily enable continuous integration and continuous deployment to your SQL Server and Azure SQL database development. I'll use SQL Server Data Tools in Visual Studio and Visual Studio Team Services. Let's call them as SSDT and VSTS in this session. So, what is continuous integration and deployment? It's a modern, popular development practice that requires developers to check in code changes to source control as frequently as possible and automate the build, test, and deploy for each change. This brings a huge benefit that you can detect change issues early and at a smaller scale, hence mitigate it quickly and easily. To make things easier to understand, I'll jump right into the database CI and CD demo in action and walk you through a story for a typical day of developer. In this demo, I'm going to use a simple demo application, AdventureWorks Employee Directory, and Organizational Chart Services. It basically lists out employees' contact information and their manager and reports relationship. For this application, we use project in Visual Studio Team Services. And all the source code is in Git repository. As you see, database, and it's a unit test, and web application is all in source code. As a developer, my day starts thinking about what feature or bug I need to work on. To do that, in Visual Studio, I go to work items. There is one work item assigned to me. So let's open it, which is mask sensitive information for information, specifically mask last name of employee. Right, so we are showing our employee detailed information, so the feature change is to mask those information. I go to Solution Explorer and Database Project. In SQL Server 2016, there is a feature that is called dynamic data masking. What you can do is that you go to Person and simply add mask with function for the column that I want to mask. So that is my work for today. So let's make a change. I uncomment it. I commented the original code and save it. That's basically what you can do for database development and change using database project. And likewise, any application you build that is successful, and check if there is any error. No, there is no error. Okay, after build, you can publish your change to local development database so that you can verify your changes are all okay locally on your dev box. So I go to publish. Then SSDT generates all the necessary change scripts for you. If I open, we just changed one line in table definition and its schema, but what is necessary to make the change in SQL Server database is many changes in other referencing objects as well. SSDT automatically analyzes those referencing relationships and generates scripts for you. That is the benefit that you get as a developer using SSDT for database changes. Okay, so the database change was verified and everything is fine. Then next step is to check in the code to our Git repository in Visual Studio Team Service. So there is a change that we just made, and now I'm checking in. And I will commit all and push at the same time. So my change is now checked in correctly to VSTS. Then let's see what happened. As soon as my change is checked in, as you see, there's a new build is automatically triggered by VSTS. VSTS monitors the Git repository, and if there's any source code change, and it triggers continuous integration build. So let's click and see what's happening. Okay, now VSTS starts building the new changes based on build definition, which is AdventureWorks database build. First, it gets the resources, and it pulls down all the NuGet packages that my application uses. And once it is done, it basically builds the changes using MS Build. And once it is built successfully, it deploys the database to unit test SQL Server database and using SQL package.exe. That basically deploys it so that the next step, when a test step is being executed, it can run unit test on that newly changed table on database. When build and test is complete, it now goes into publish the artifact into the VSTS repository. And also it builds a NuGet package for our database change so that it can be shared within team and with application. Now, it is all successful. So the build was successful, test was all passing, and everything was good. Now, if you take a look at the deployment, when build is successfully complete, Visual Studio automatically starts continuous deployment. So it creates release 141, which is new, and starts deploying the changes on the database to user acceptance environment. So let's take a look at our application again. We have modified on the database. As you see, now the last name is all masked with XXXX. That was our change in our database. Once it is complete, let's go back to our release. Now we see the build was successful, release to user acceptance test server was successful. Now it is waiting for the production deployment. I have set up approval process on that, and by clicking approval reject, you can continue deploying the database change to production. Now, these configurations can be very simply done using Visual Studio. I go to build definition. All these steps that we use in continuous integration build and continuous deployment release are all based on Visual Studio Team service templates. So you can simply choose a template that you need and add it into your build and release workflow. For each step, there are really simple configurations that you can do for database, and which is almost identical to any database projects. So you can pretty much configure this one within 10 minutes. If you are new to SSDT and developing database with the Visual Studio project and source control, please watch our Channel 9 Visual Studio Toolbox episode. It introduces all the cool features of SSDT and help you get started. For database CI and CD setup with Visual Studio Team Services, please try it by yourself. I have posted a step-by-step tutorial to help you. Also, don't forget to follow SQL Data Tools at Twitter and join our database developer community today. Thank you for watching this video.